Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back to Ground Zero Salem. Something a little different here. What you're about to watch, if you so choose, if you're brave enough, is a almost an hour and a half long discussion on Japanese hardcore that myself, Eric Bauer, and Mike from Canada, who does the Uncommon Pallor channel, engaged in a few nights ago. I'm not going to bother editing it. It's long. One thing of note is that we had an almost 40-minute or about 40-minute long discussion on Eric's end. The Zoom app, when it's free, only allows you 40 minutes, supposedly. It shut down our conversation, and then Eric had to reboot his computer, so we had to start over. One of those situations. It's annoying. So we're kind of glossing over some stuff a little bit, I think, because we already talked about it, but it was important topics to discuss in bands. And for one reason or another, the Zoom gods decided to be benevolent and just randomly let me record as long as I wanted. So it ended up going pretty long. So that's what you're gonna see. I figure I'm just gonna throw it up here, unedited. Lots of fun talk on Japanese HC. None of us being music journalists or anything like that. Just relating our own experiences, talking about the stuff we got into over the years and how we got into it. So without further ado, enjoy. Audio. Okay. Yes. Can you hear me? Good. Okay.
I have good news and I have bad news.
I'll take the bad news first.
The bad news is that file is unusable.
Oh no. Okay.
The good news is that my computer actually rebooted finally.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Well, I guess we should be a little bit more concise with our discussion then. Like do a because I'm recording right now. We can start at any point. Yeah. So we're on the clock, I guess. For
Mike, I just told Pat I have good news and bad news. The good news is that my computer rebooted successfully. The bad news is that the file of the meeting we've just got booted out of is not playable whatsoever. My computer
cursed the god.
My computer crashed while it was rendering. So yeah, it's fucked.
All right. So let's just start right here. Hey everyone. So unfortunately, we had a little bit of technical difficulty. We have 40 minutes of us bantering about, talking about Japanese hardcore that is sadly gotten consumed by the void. But whatever. I got Eric here, Eric Bauer from the channel of the same name, and Mike from Uncommon Pallor. We're a bunch of older YouTube people that are here to talk about Japanese hardcore. So I guess without further ado, let's get into it.
I mean, where did we start? Like, what was it that initially compelled you or endeared you to Japanese hardcore, I guess? Like, record-wise or just like scene-wise? I know we already went over this theoretically, but
yeah, it's reframing it in a different way that I think is a little bit more of I think that's a little bit better of a way to attack that. I think there was like a veil of mystery about it. I mean, when I discovered it, like my main source of information for stuff like that was Maximum Rock and Roll. I think that was like pretty common with most people. And you would just see like an ad or somebody would mention it in one of the columns, and it seemed like something that was a world away in terms of culture, but musically there was a same level of anger and ferocity, but it was a very interesting kind of thing. Like, it had a certain, I guess, like exotic kind of appeal or something like
exotic.
That. Yeah, I don't.
Everybody's foreign least favorite compliment.
Yeah,
it's kind of a mythos.
Yeah, it's kind of a loaded word these days, but I mean, it seemed very different and it is, because culturally, you know, it's the other side of the planet, and there's different influences going on and stuff like that. I don't know, like the first band that I heard whisperings of or whatever was Gizm, and you know, I got this tape that my friend Mike taped for me 23 years ago now, with Gizm, Gauze, and Kuro on it, with all the respective bands' early recordings. And I feel like they're essential. And I feel like there was a handful of people in the US, like there was more and more people every year, but I know that like in the early to mid 90s, there was only, and then like even going back to the late 80s, you know, it was like Pusshead, all the comp appearances of Japanese bands on Pusshead stuff, and people like Wedge from Nine Chalks Terror and Nate Wilson, who would, like, a lot of people did the legwork of actually just writing to people in Japan and stuff directly, you know. My era, definitely, I'm sure people were still doing that, but we were actually getting stuff in stores and getting a lot of like tape bootlegs, like Poison Planet tapes out of Oakland and shit like that, you know.
Tape bootlegs.
Yes, I have that. Nagasaki Knight Rider. Yep.
Fucking stoked I managed to grab a copy of that. The wax for that is astronomical.
I'm sure it is.
Like, inaccessible for most people on a budget of any sort. So for me, it was probably like, you know, I'd heard bands, some, but the one band that really like got me to like dive into that stuff would probably be
Raise Cane.
These two.
Fantastic.
I was repping these guys for a long time and nobody got it. People were like, people heard this one, and they're like, that sounds like fucking butt rock, you know, at the time. What did people know about, you know, it's like punks versus Heschers, and there are thrash metal influences, but I think a lot of that is just mistaken by the fact that like these guys could actually play their instruments well and weren't afraid to solo.
Mm-hmm.
And solos in fucking hardcore was weird back then, for at least for the circle of friends that I had at the time. I don't know. I loved this record specifically, like just hit me. And I wanted more.
Still a super underrated band in my opinion, but
yeah,
they don't get talked about enough.
I've never even heard them, to be honest. I know the name, you know, but I've probably heard them at some point, and I know they're a noteworthy band, but there's a daunting amount of bands from Japan, a lot of important ones that I still don't know what they sound like. So
these guys are, I mean, they have these two releases, and then they have tracks on Eye of the Thrash Gorilla. Let's de-sleeve. It's a bootleg. It's a bootleg, of course, but I mean, the appeal to me at the first time I heard this was Raise Cane was on here, of course, and then of course you've got Deathside and SOB, Nightmare, Crow, Tetsuo Ray, who fucking talk about underrated Japanese band. Tetsuo Ray, man, oh, so good.
Yeah, that's one. They're one I slept on for a long time. I never heard them until like a long time after they started. So they just
was it because they put dumbbells on the cover of all of their records?
I don't know. It's just there was just so much stuff to buy. Otherwise, I just never got around to buying their stuff until way late in the game. So yeah, like I mean, the first I've said before, it was mostly comps that got me into Japanese hardcore. Like the Welcome 1984 comp had the Execute, the Peace comp had Gizm on it. I couldn't wrap my head around Gizm back then because it was a little too weird for what I was into more straightforward stuff at the time. And then I ended up, you know, picking up this, which was a total game changer. I mean, Systematic Death, Auto, Lip Cream, Gauze, fantastic. And I also got the Execute Inferno at the time, which I don't own a copy anymore, but I didn't like it as much as this comp. But then it was, yeah, it's fantastic. But and then I just, see stuff in Maximum Rock and Roll Classifieds, and I'd be like, "Who the hell's a Buradaco?" But you just never saw those records, right?
Dude, that's one of those bands. That's one of those bands that like I still haven't really grasped.
Oh, they're good.
Is that the Cro-Maniacs reissue, the technical bootleg?
Yes, I believe it is. I also like the fact that their name translates apparently to Greasy Octopus, which incidentally was my nickname in high school.
Greasy Octopus. Fuck yeah.
But yeah, they're I didn't pay attention to them for years, and since I got this record, I've listened to it a million times. It's so good.
This was another one, and this the only reason I picked this up back in the day was because this is the A side. I'm pretty sure that's the A side. That's why I bought it.
It is.
And that's the B side.
It's slappers.
Yep. Great.
Oh God, why?
It's the best album cover.
Why God? Why?
It's so bad.
I mean, that kind of delves into that like sort of subgenre of like Japanese power violence, I guess, like Slight Slappers and Fuck on the Beach.
CFDL.
Yep. Which they do, Japanese power violence is some of the best power violence.
Well, it's like I pulled this because if you want to be, it's Japanese in that it has what's his name, Takeshi from CFDL does the vocals for this record. Bacteria.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Chaos, and supporting members are fucking Doom and Jesus Christ, Excrement of War folks.
Oh, okay. Shit.
And it's not. It doesn't sound like Doom or Excrement of War. This record's fucking crazy. It's good shit though.
Feel the need to pull this out again. I talked about this on the botched attempt earlier. This is DSB No Fight No Get, and this is I believe 90s, yeah, early 90s, maybe mid 90s. Japanese hardcore stuff. Fucking amazing band that got to play the States a couple of times. Put out by a Boston label, Devour, which was a Japanese guy living in Boston. Also released the debut Nine Shocks Terror LP, Zen and the Art of Beating Your Ass. I think it should be also mentioned that Nine Shocks Terror were a band that were heavily influenced by Japanese hardcore, and I think like helped kind of popularize it to Americans, because we're talking about that before on the thing that got fucked up. The take that got fucked up is like the popularity of Japanese hardcore now. And I think one of the gateway bands to, because I mean, Nine Shocks Terror is taken from Lip Cream,
right?
They definitely had a strong influence of that kind of stuff. But yeah, the same guy that put out their first record put this out, and this is,
I gotta check that out.
It's so good. I mean, it's definitely not like the super metallic brand. It's more, and it's not Disclose either. It's hardcore. It's fast and raging, but it's got enough change ups and sort of like rhythmic changes. It's not like monochromatic in the way of like a Discharge Worship band, but it's fucking awesome. It's really good.
That's one of the things I appreciate about this was that this doesn't sound, it's not like blown out like Crasher Crust, like raw punk shit. Like it's hardcore. It's Japanese, but it's hardcore, and it's recognizably hardcore. So I don't know, it's fucking great shit.
I don't know if either of you guys have checked out this band at all. Age
rules.
Yeah. Fucking so good. The Spider Rules Your Emotions. The Scar of Lead LP is the other one that I have, and this is another band that like, it's weird. It's odd to me that like Japanese hardcore is either like pennies on the dollar or like astronomically expensive. There seems to be like almost no in between, but all the Age stuff is like dirt cheap, and it's really fucking good. It's super tight, super metallic, like thrashy Japanese hardcore stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I have the Inside Darkness 7-inch by Age. It's really good. It's kind of reminds me a lot of Amoebics or something like that. It's different.
Okay.
One of those bands that gets kind of lumped into that category of like dollar bin all day would be fucking this one right here.
Oh yeah.
Beyond description, yeah.
Everything by this band is cheap as fuck.
I have a couple of their CDs that like Hardcore Holocaust, that label like folded, it seems like quickly or something, like because that guy's sitting on a ton of dead stock. And maybe it's just that people don't really want to buy CDs that much of that style of music. It seems like leaning into crust and punk and everything, people tend to want vinyl. And I'm like, cool, you know, $3
CD.
Yeah, $3 for a CD, I'll buy it. But I've got 2 Beyond Description compact discs, and they're both very crossover. One's like almost straight up like thrash metal. They're both
The
really,
one's like the army dude with the gun, like
yeah. I can snag them real quick.
That's a great album. Great. I'm gonna say great until Pat sits down again. No, probably not.
That would be great.
Great. Be so great.
It would be great.
But yeah, this one, A Road to a Brilliant Future.
Yeah, that album rules, man.
This album's great. And this one, as much as this cover art is kind of like detestable, like wacky thrash bandana, like mid-2000s kind of stuff, the record's really good. Crimes Against Humanity Records is actually the label, but also Hardcore Holocaust is another one that kind of like folded like in the 2000s or whatever. But
nope. Do any of you guys into some Judgment?
Yes.
Dude, I would be more into Judgment if I could affordably find any of their material.
This is the only thing I have is Just Be, which is like kind of their least good record. Like it's only it's what, 3? Oh no, it's 4 songs. It's not their best. Like they only have a handful of EPs, but this is still really good.
Yep, I got that one. I also have the Night Brings record. I'm missing Process and Haunt in the Dark, but No Reason Why is hands down, it's my favorite Japanese hardcore record ever. Both these songs are absolutely flawless. Yeah.
That was the nice thing about Chaos and Chaos, like I was saying before shit got cut off, was that introduced so many Americans to like how amazing Japanese bands were. And I don't know what kind of mojo Timmy, the guy who promoted that, like how he got all those bands over there, but I've seen Judgment, Bastard, Systematic Death, Frompted. Those are all the big ones, but like,
Did
holy
you see
fuck.
Death Side?
What's that?
You see Death Side of Chaos and Chaos?
I didn't see I didn't see Death Side. But like, fuck, like, especially, and I don't even listen to them frequently, but in terms of like the craziest live set I've ever seen was seeing Frompted. Like, holy fucking shit. They were so good. And they were playing in this weird venue that had like, it's odd. It was like, because it's Texas, there's a lot of like semi outside stages and stuff. And it was at this one pretty high capacity club that, you know, could probably hold about like 500 people or whatever, where there were balconies on either side of Frompted playing. And there were people jumping off of like, it was like, you know, you see those videos of like Negative Approach and Minor Threat playing huge halls that have balconies. And there's people like very not being careful about their own personal safety and jumping off of like high ass balconies.
Right.
Yeah, that's what was going on. It was fucking nuts. And the videos awesome. on YouTube too.
The fucking rules.
Yeah, it was great.
Fucking rules, man.
On the subject of Death Side, just go that real quick. And there's one, I believe. Yeah, this one's on Devour as well.
Yep.
Will Never Die.
And there's the split with Chaos UK too. I wouldn't mind owning that.
You know what? I've never heard that. For some reason, it's just escaped me.
It's weird.
I have that material. I didn't pull it. I have that double LP comp of all their singles and fucking comp tracks. It's a boot, but it's got like Lon Chaney on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fucking record rules.
It's
So
also
good.
interesting to see like what bands the Japanese bands from the like worship like from the West. I've noticed that Chaos UK and Disorder are huge.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Discharge. Also Poison Idea,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
Oh,
for
real
sure.
absolutely.
with the Japanese bands and everything. Like
For me,
and
it
that
was
was
always like, sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was,
That was the thing. Like when I saw like when I saw Poison Idea play a Chaos and Chaos, I can't remember which Japanese bands were playing. I think it was the same year Bastard played. It's been a while, but they covered Endless Blockades, and apparently they asked somebody if it would be cool, and they were like, "Nah, it's not. Please don't do that." And they did it anyway, and it was like kind of this whole thing, you know, because of you know what. So it's yeesh. And Poison Idea, unfortunately, like they were on an off night that night. Like Jerry A was barely even singing. Like he was just kind of like doing like almost like Bill Murray singing the Star Wars theme, like lounge singer kind of style shit. It wasn't good,
that
unfortunately. But
was for me. Like another big one for me was this one.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fucking so good. Like that just got reissued, that Split with Misery, and I'd never heard that band before. And man, that band fucking rips. Like in terms of like
Yeah,
metallic crust stuff, like god damn, that shit smokes.
yeah. This is just a bootleg comp. It's got the side A is Split with Misery from '92, and then the B side is the unreleased Into the Void from '92, or would have been released in '92. But I remember, I mean, I don't have it anymore, but I picked this up with the Split with Misery originally because Misery.
Yeah.
And honestly, this side I played the SDS side more than the Misery side. Whereas I had like friends and roommates who were like, I've never listened to the SDS side. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
dude.
play it for the fucking Misery. Like, come
Like
on.
misery fucking rules, but that I mean, like I'd heard Misery. Like I knew what the deal was with Misery. And that just got reissued like last year. So I picked it up from Profane. And I was like, I don't even know who SDS are, like whatever. And I was very pleasantly surprised, you know, because I think I'd seen the logo and patches and stuff like way back in the day, but I didn't know anything about them.
Yeah,
I was
fucking
really fucking stoked on that.
stellar. Stellar.
Yeah, my old roommate was really into SDS, so he just saturated the hell out of my brain with it for a 6-month period. I was like,
I
yeah.
don't I think there's worse things to be obsessed with than SDS.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When he got on his Smiths phase, I was like, killing me.
Smiths to SDS.
Yeah, he's an interesting fella.
I think
We haven't,
for me one of
oh, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say one of the things that I think I appealed to me was that like with from what I was exposed to early on was like just the multi directional trajectory of a lot of the Japanese hardcore bands, right? Like you had Gizm, who Detestation, it's a punk record. I mean, you can identify it as a punk record when you listen to it, but then you listen to MAN, and you're like, this sounds like fucking new wave of British heavy metal mixed with like, like old loudness and like American hardcore a little bit at the same time. And it's a weird record the first time I heard it. I recognize that it's still kind of a weird record, but like I really appreciate that about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird record. It kind of divides a lot of people. Some people are just absolutely angry about that record sometimes.
I like it better than Detestation, personally.
There's other people that do.
I need to
but
revisit that. I haven't heard
Not
it.
to be contrarian, I like Detestation. I actually kind of forgot how much I did like that record until Relapse reissued it, and I picked up the CD just because I've got it on vinyl already. But and I re-listening to it, I'm like, wow, this was really fucking good. Like,
yeah, it is.
Anyway, long story short, Ghoul.
Yeah,
I
Mike,
figured somebody was going to pull Ghoul, so I did not.
I know I'm actually in the same boat as Mike on this because he talked about this on an update not that long ago. But he's like, yeah, I know this is a classic Japanese band, but I never got into him until now. And same deal with me. Like I saw this on the, I don't know if it was Grave Mistake or Sorry State, one of those. And I was like, yeah, I got it. It's weird. Talk about like bands having weird trajectories and stuff. Like some of this stuff sounds like Venom and Motorhead kind of. Some of it is
the logo. Look at the logo.
Yeah.
That's
well,
the
yeah.
Venom
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Venom worshiping logo. Yeah, good call. But then some of it's like straight up like bad oi, like not. And I like oi. Like I like most oi. Like I'd like to say I've rarely met an oi band I don't like, but obviously there are those ones that of course, but like that I wouldn't like. But like there's some that's like really subpar. Like there was a lot of like 90s oi that was just like so fucking bad, and like that's kind of in the realm of that, like the worst headache records type of shit. Like
so you don't like, because I actually really like the Ghoul was it Oi Oi Flexi?
Yeah, that's
I like that record a lot, man.
Really? I don't like their take on oi. I like their metal stuff a lot. And we can talk about Japanese oi, which is a whole weird whoa.
Oh yeah.
Gizet. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Ghoul kind of I used to do a lot of videotape trading, and that's the only place that I ever heard Ghoul for years until, probably 10 years ago. And I was like, I got the same opinion. The oi stuff doesn't do it for me, but the metal stuff's pretty good.
I don't prefer the oi stuff, but I still like it. Like, I think it's fun.
Well, and another band that's like interesting sort of directions, like this Execute record. This is a straight up death rock record, and it's good. The antagonistic shadow, and it's I heard the name for years, and I was like, I'll check them out when I get around to it. And I've actually listened to some of their more straightforward hardcore stuff. They also have like some kind of Motorhead-ish leaning shit, and that stuff's fine. It's good, but like this is a fucking great death rock record.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Ones I've heard.
That one I like a lot. This is another. This band divides a lot of people too because of like how varied their output was. Gas Stunk.
Oh yeah. I like the one I have. Let me pull it. I have that one that's on Pussmort with the face.
This is the first EP. Mr. Gazim. In the Fire, the Birth of Stars.
Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste. Yeah, that band for sure.
Self-titled. I think this record's awesome, but it is definitely like super gallopy.
Out there?
Fucking. I mean, like
if any of these
looks like how they. I mean, it sounds like how they look, like right there.
Right. It's like if any of these bands are going to be like mistaken for butt rock, as like Raise Cane was when I was younger, it should be this one. Because I mean, they have shit that borders on like glam. Like
yeah, it totally is. But I think it's awesome.
They were basically like almost a Visual K band, like fucking X Japan or like fucking dare I say Mob. Masculinity or bullshit.
What's also interesting is this is I don't know who Vice America are, but it's a split release of Vice America, Pussmort, and Southern Studios.
Weird. Southern Studios, that's the Crass Records studio, right?
Yeah, I mean, like that's a lot of the Rudimentary Peni stuff came out on there, and
Huh.
But yeah, I think this record's awesome. And I didn't know what I was expecting, but like it's one of those things where like I saw the cover for so long, and it popped up on a friend of mine was selling it for a reasonable price, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy it just because like I remember seeing like Kirk Hammett wearing that shirt in like a metal magazine when I was like 12 and being like, who the fuck is Gas Stunk?
Right.
Just like
what a stupid name.
Yeah. No, actually, a friend of mine, he had that picture of Kirk Hammett wearing the Gas Stunk shirt, like hanging up in his bedroom, and him and his girlfriend were joking about like what did that mean? And they decided that Gas Stunk is the feeling you get when you look at your cat and your cat is licking its own ass. It's like, dude, hopefully Henry will have you feeling Gas Stunk again in no time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But
You might get demonetized for this one, Pat.
Whatever.
The swank never can eat swank dinner. Ex guy, and ex guy and ex the sexual, I believe.
I don't actually have any Swankies records. Surprisingly, I have a guy. I have a guy.
This shit is. It's so good. This record is fucking amazing. It's like it's kind of like in that like stop Jap sort of vein, which is fine with me because that's, in my opinion, the best Japanese hardcore album ever, if not one of the best hardcore albums anywhere ever. I fucking love that record.
Swankies, they're one of those bands you'd always see in the MRR classifieds be like, who the fuck are the Swankies? Why is someone willing to pay like so much money for it? And then you hear it and you go, yeah, that's fucking good. But,
exactly.
Yeah,
so good. Shit rules.
The sexual's pretty good too. The meeting no longer has a time limit.
Hey,
look at that! Boom.
That's cool.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Everything's coming up Gas Stunk.
Yeah, I've got that same one.
I mean, fairly obvious choice, you know. At this point, like Bastard is like starter pack stuff for people getting into Japanese hardcore, but for a fucking reason. Like,
yeah,
just relentlessly fucking brutal, but good, like really fucking catchy. I don't know. And it's funny because like I had a like a bootleg discography cassette. It wasn't a dub though. It was like a pro done one that had this and the LP and probably comp tracks on it. And I couldn't, at the time, I didn't get into it at all because I was like, it's just like one tempo, like every song. Like there's no, where's like the breakdowns or like, you know, the heavy parts that are slow, you know, like
right.
I completely didn't get like that. No, it's supposed to be ripping your face off the whole fucking time, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the sexual. It's a bootleg tape discography, but it sounds fucking great. It's one of like 1,000 things I've purchased from Puke and Vomit Radiation Records in California.
They're used / like whatever, like used expensive Bonzer section is pretty nuts.
Yeah, they've got the first Stalin first press for the measly cost of $800 the last time I looked.
I showed this off last time, but getting into early Japanese grind, SOB. Yep. What's the truth on Rise Above Records? Lee Dorian.
Oh yeah,
fucking
I think that was one of the first Rise Above releases, wasn't it?
Yeah. He also put out like a London like metallic straight edge band. I can't remember their name, but yeah, he did other stuff before the doomy shit. And I was just spinning this while we were trying to figure out our technical stuff, and it's like it's super good, but it's like way less like death metal than I remember it. Like it's definitely grindcore, but the vocals are more like a hardcore kind of yell.
Yeah, they didn't go full on death metal until Gate of Doom.
Yeah,
I used to have that same cassette, but someone borrowed it permanently.
Worst,
dude. Get that shit back.
Oh, years ago.
This is just what I had on the player right here.
Ops. That shit rules.
Another bootleg. Like there was a bunch of bootlegs that popped up on Grave. I can't remember if it was Grave Mistake or. Nice.
Speaking of Japanese grind,
Unholy Grave, the Agatha Cleaves of Japan. Also Bathtub Shitter.
Bathtub Shitter.
Yeah, Bathtub Shitter. I got a couple Bathtub Shitter records.
I don't.
Insane Youth.
Fuck yes.
That's
Fuck
good
yes.
shit. The fucking singer sounds like he's giving birth. It's fantastic.
Isn't it? That's Suichi though from Forward, isn't it? That does the vocals on that record.
I don't know. If the print was big enough to accommodate my old eyes, I'd be able to tell you. I don't know.
Because I thought that was like dudes from Forward and like Death Side, and I could be wrong about that. I kind of lump like bands like Insane Youth, Forward, Acute, Judgment, and Nightmare all into like the same, or in Death Side, all into like the same category of Japanese hardcore.
Yes. Suichi,
I'd say that's
Suichi plays guitar. Yeah, Suichi's in here for sure.
Okay. They did that split with the fucking Crucified by the Kakami, the side project of Kawakami. Yeah, the Wild. Yeah, that fucking shit rules.
Got the guy from Selfish in it.
Yep.
And they also got the split here with Disassociate.
Yeah.
Ooh. God, I love Disassociate.
Yeah.
All three are great.
Fucking Insane Youth. Underrated as fuck.
Yeah, yeah. Very powerful sounding. Like his voice, he just bellows like nobody's business.
Here's a fucking obscure one. I didn't pull this specifically for this, but I have it out, so fuck it. Liberate, Never Fade Away, or Never Fading Away.
Great band.
This was fucking cheap. These guys don't get the love they deserve. Like, this is a band that people should talk about with like Nightmare and Forward and fuck yeah. This shit rules. It smokes so hard. I don't know why people don't know about it. People need to know about it.
Never heard of it.
I think you'd like it a lot, man. It's crusty, but like it's kind of got that Ausrotten vibe to it almost. Like,
okay,
for lack of a better way of describing it, like it would be kind of like comparing, say, like Ausrotten or Resist to like or say comparing Ausrotten to Behind Enemy Lines, where like you have like this fucking Liberate next to like Disclose, you know, like you can tell it's from the same genre, but like it's almost, I don't want to say it's upbeat, but like it's bouncy almost. Like there's definitely some pogo rhythms on here that you don't get on like, you know, a fucking Nightmare record.
Right.
This record's awesome too. Like if you ever want to hear Japanese hardcore with saxophones, this is your record.
Yes, I do.
That actually,
I want more right now.
What's that? What, Mike?
I said the saxophone threw me off the first time I heard it. I was like, what the fuck?
I was going to pull the Smash Detox EP, the only Smash Detox EP, which is like Jack Control and the members of Forward and Insane Youth, I think. They have like Hammond organ on that fucking single, and a woman singing in like a very feminine, like falsetto-ish sort of voice. But it's excellent. It's so good.
I'd be into that for sure.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like, I don't know, technically I guess it's an American band, but like it almost sounds more European than American or Japanese, considering that it's American and Japanese people in the project, but it sounds like a Euro project.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
It's fucking great.
Crazy.
I think Prank put out the 7-inch. Actually, I don't remember who put out the Smash Detox EP.
I think we should maybe discuss Japanese pogo punk, street punk kind of stuff for a minute here. We got Tom and Boot Boys. Who Wants Panties?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Members also, I believe they shared members with the Discogs,
yes,
who are also excellent.
The fucking Discogs.
There was also that band Thug Murder that were pretty good. They were a little bit more polished, like Rancid, later on Unseen kind of stuff, but good live apparently. I don't know. Like I'm playing catch up with a lot of stuff. Like this is like the Japanese Poison, another bootleg.
Yeah, Poison. So
Poison
they went
Arts.
by Poison, and then they changed it to, is it Poison Minds or Poison?
I don't
Poison
know.
Arts.
Like it's not clearly labeled, but this guy has his shorts say Poison Arts. So maybe
Poison
that.
Arts.
Yeah,
They
Poison
changed
Art.
their name,
Yeah.
but the Poison, the Hot Rod EP they put out, like that's a grail for me. Like I realize it's on that LP, but I want that fucking Hot Rod EP. So good.
Oh, this right here. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So fucking good.
Mhm.
Fucking cool looking band. Jesus. Like fucking
Yes.
best fucking hair. Holy shit.
Best hair.
Like outside of like Genocide from New Jersey, like fucking best like glam / charged hair.
Here's
These
another
guys
one.
right here.
Oh yeah,
Oh, Rose
I've never-
Rose. I need some Rose Rose wicked bad.
I've never seen that record. I have the is it Mosh of Ass? I've had that at one point.
Mosh about which cover variant?
Oh fuck!
Because
I
there's
don't
like
know.
there's like the good cover, and then there's like the I don't really want this in my collection cover.
I don't know. It didn't stay in my collection real long. I ended up trading it. So either way, she's gone.
It's like fastcore, like Japanese fastcore. It's not quite thrash, and it's not power violence. It's right there in the middle. It's so good. Mosh of Ass is really good too, man. That's one you should revisit for sure.
Oh, I will if I see it.
This album just like fucking slays. So good.
About some Warhead. Maybe fuck with
Yes.
Yeah.
I fucking love Warhead. I didn't pull my Warhead. I was hoping one of you two would pull a Warhead record. But
I can pull it right
Yeah,
now.
I got-
I'll pull the one that you sent me in the mail.
Yeah, Ugly Pop release. Guy always
Is that-
does a good job.
is that the LP with the EP on the B side?
Yes. Yeah, it's got What to Do with This Yearning and The Lost Self and Beating Heart. Pat's fetching some more Warhead.
I have that version of that LP, and then I have is it I don't remember if it's the most recent full length, or is it the comp of all the fucking singles tracks? Shit, now I'm gonna have to he extended the meeting time, so fucking win in Rome. Win in Rome.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Whiplash, Warzone, Wehrmacht. Where the fuck is this? There it is.
There you go.
Yeah, Eric actually sent this to me.
Oh yeah, that's the one I just pulled.
Oh, yeah.
That record rules. This is
Super good.
is it the comp or is this a full length? It's a full length, I'm pretty sure. I'm missing the comp. Yeah, I'm missing the comp. Which sucks. I need that. Because their individual records are fucking expensive as shit.
Yeah.
I have
Like the EPs.
I
Well,
have
this was
the
put out
Cry
on
of Truth.
540, which I must have been Timmy from Chaos and Teos's label or something.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Were you
Was
gonna pull something, Mike?
Yeah, was anyone fortunate enough to get this guy?
Dude, I got
Rocky-
the C. I had to buy the CD, and I got it from the label in Japan. So it
Oh,
was
really?
it was like a $30 CD, but it was worth it.
Oh, it's great.
It's
Yeah,
so
you
good.
have that other you have the Total Hardcore one as well. I think you showed that a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, this fucking. What was this? This was put out by Partners in Crime.
Yep, I have that. And the
So good.
the Hardcore Grasshoppers EP and the 844.
Do you know how that God Save the Green?
I don't.
I need that so bad.
Yeah, I tried to keep up with them, but somebody caught on to it and their stuff just started selling really quick. So
Dude,
I got
that
what
new one. The new one just was like impossible to get. Like
Yeah.
I found it, and by the time I like went to check out, it had been sold out. And so then I got a line on another distro that would have it, and I went to that distro, and they were sold out. And I got a line on another distro that might have it, and they were sold out. And FOAD sold out of it like that.
Yeah.
As soon as they announced it, it was sold out.
Yeah, I got mine from General Speech, but I grabbed that and the Blaze record at the same time. I was lucky enough to get them both. So
fucking jealous, man. Jealous. That shit was so good, so crucial. That was probably my favorite record of 2019.
Yeah,
I would put that out there. I would say so. And it's funny because that's another one of those bands like the Swankies that, like, based off of the name, I'm like, I'm not gonna like a band called Rocky and the Sweden. There's no way.
Yeah. It sounds like a garage rock name, really. But
yeah. Out of all genres and scenes, like, you can't trust any band name from Japan, like, at all. Unfortunately. I'm trying to think of some examples, like Curtain Rail. That's a ripping band. They're called Curtain Rail. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
It's not even like wacky or it doesn't make any sense. It's like actually like a really fucking boring, like, whatever, like
right.
two nouns, like, you know. But yeah, I should probably address the elephant in the room and mention Confuse real quick.
I've got a few singles.
God damn. For a band that sounded like just like a punk band falling down a flight of stairs, they have a lot of stuff. Like,
dude, you know, like, it's a lot of it sounds just like pure noise, but like, I don't know what it is about it that makes it like so like endearing to me, and like just like,
well, what's weird is like you can tell they're clearly taking cues from like super early Chaos UK and Disorder stuff, like that really like falling apart, like cider punk, like kind of shit, that Riot City stuff or whatever, but like with their own twist on it. But I've finally coming around to some of that Chaos UK and Disorder stuff now, but the Confused stuff I was always on board with, like 100% from the drop. I don't know why.
It's so sincere. It doesn't seem contrived. Like,
yeah, like these comps are weird. There's some overlap with like both of these, but I mean that's a lot of stuff. Like, particularly the Spending Loud Night 7-inch is a fucking nightmare. Like that's like that's some wild antics right there. Like it's almost like avant-garde by how like fucked up it is.
Oh, you mean? Here, hang on.
Crazy inspiration, man. They inspired so many bands to sound like that after they came along. So
all those bands like Zionos and all that kind of shit.
I like Zionos in moderation.
I'll have to go back to it. I bought an LP and I was like, ugh, God, no. Yeah, Nuclear Addicts.
And then, of course,
yeah, I have that one. I'm
Spending Loud Night.
Spending Loud Night.
Just fucking cacophony of just like, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about shit in like that vein, like we go down the whole like Crust War fucking black hole, and fucking here's one.
War Cry
with Keep Drinking Attitude, which is definitely not a ripoff of Sore Throats. What was the Sore Throat? Jesus Christ. It's a Sore Throat reference, and it's an obvious one.
And I think it was Sore Throat making fun of Uniform Choice, too, or something like that.
Yeah.
Negative drinking attitude. Something like that.
Positive drinking attitude.
Right. As opposed to
the Sore Throat.
Positive mental attitude, which is...
Yeah.
Well,
This shit
some
fucking-
grifter, some grifter self-help guy that got people from Uniform Choice and Bad Brains to read his book or whatever.
This shit is just killer. Is it? I think it's Jackie from Crust Wars in this. I want to say Tacky. Is that what he went by on this? Maybe not, but I know it's members of this one. Which this was like a grail when I got this.
Oh yeah.
I need to
have-
get some. I need some Gloom shit. I do not have anything by them.
In that vein, like in the confused worship vein, like this shit is like the ultimate in my opinion.
Yeah, in mine as well. That's great.
So good.
Here's the Crust War zine with the Defector 7-inch.
Oh, dude.
It's kind of hard to find. I also, along with that, I also got this Inferno Punks like photo book, which is I actually forgot I had it, to be honest. That's super cool. You know, and then even then you just drag stuff off into like Disclose and
dude.
Yeah.
I had to pull a Disclose record, but I pulled my personal favorite. And that's this one.
Yep, that is a good one.
When they started doing like the broken bones worship over the discharge worship.
Yeah, the Disc Bones. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite era, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so good.
I just
This
pulled the
one-
first 7-inch because it's hard to find.
I have a lot of Disclose. Like I really like Disclose, but
I have quite a bit too.
the era following the second LP is definitely my preferred era for Disclose. Because when they lock into one of those fucking riffs, and I know you both know those riffs that I'm talking about, like that fucking gallopy, like Broken Bones, English Dogs, sort of like metalized D beat.
Yeah.
They fucking do no wrong. Now people bitch about Kawakami's vocals, but
I think they're great.
I do
I think
too.
they're fine.
Really? I didn't even know that people bitched about it. That's weird.
Oh yeah, that's a main gripe I think that a lot of people have with some of that later Disclose material.
Hmm.
They
Only
say
record I
his
have
voice
by
got-
them is Tragedy, but I mean,
They're like his voice got too blown out. I fucking missed them. So when I moved from Seattle to Las Vegas, like literally right after I moved, they came out and played Seattle Disclose with oh fuck. I'm trying to think of the American band with fuck in their name.
No Fucker.
No Fucker, yeah. They played
Yeah.
with No Fucker. And Frampton was supposed to play, but Frampton couldn't get it into the country.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
a shame.
That's wild because No Fucker is from my area. They're from Utica, New York. And there's like nothing like that around there. It's not like the Pacific Northwest where there's a ton of people into D beat. Like those were literally the only dudes into that kind of music. And like they would come and play Syracuse and I was like, cool, I get it. I like Discharge too, as would like maybe 2 or 3 other people. And they'd just be playing to like Bridge 9 kids and everybody was like, what the fuck is going on? You know, they were great live. They were super blown out and noisy and I don't even know how much stuff No Fucker even recorded. I don't even know if they recorded a full length. I think it was
They
just
have a split with Disclose, which is one of my
Yeah.
favorite Disclose splits. Like my favorite Disclose splits would probably be that one, the split with Frampton, and the split with Gates.
okay.
The Japanese like motor punk band. Like
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
I don't even know. Like I have a Disclose split or two, but I don't even
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. Mike's got it right there. Disclose No Fucker.
Yeah,
I've got
probably got like 10 of their splits.
Yeah.
I have the Nightmare Reality LP and I have the split with Hakuchi as well.
I have
That's fucking
the Tragedy LP
great.
and then a couple of splits, but I don't remember what. I have a tape put out by Eric from Social Napalm that's like a bunch of well, a bunch of different like demo sessions and stuff like that. That's really good. That was the only Disclose I had for the longest time, but yeah, I mean,
one of my favorite releases with Disclose on it is probably so the second LP, which was released by is it March of the Arseholes? Is that
Game
the
of
name?
the Arsehole.
Game of the Arseholes.
Yeah, Stuart Schrader.
Yeah. So he released the second LP originally. La Vida Esemus reissued it recently. But originally it was on a CD comp put out by Dan Doe with Conga Fury, Contrast Attitude, and one other band. And it was, yeah, Contrast
Conga
Attitude.
Fury. Wow, that's a pretty wild deviation. Like,
well, and it's a weird comp because they're like interspersed. So like you'll hear like a couple tracks from like Conga Fury bleed into a couple tracks from Disclose to the next band, and then back to the first band until like each band's contribution is run through its album. And the entirety of that second Disclose album is on that CD, including the 10-minute version of their song War Dead, which I think they cut down to like 5 minutes for the LP. Something like that. 3 or 5 minutes.
I have that CD somewhere.
Yeah, it's fucking killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
oh yeah, the Chainsaw Split with Fronted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Leatherface on the cover.
Yep. Yeah, I have that and something else that I'm not finding right now. But yeah, that compilation tape that Eric put together was like I think it's all demo stuff or something like that. I'll have to. I wish
I have a Disclose cassette. Let me snag it.
I do too. I don't remember where the fuck it is. Oh, here it is.
I really fucking need to reorganize the cassettes. Oh
yeah, mine aren't alphabetical at all. But this is abnormal. It's a dub of abnormal tapes from Slovenia.
Nice.
Grave New Studio Session, Bullshit Studio Session, Grave New Studio. I don't even know what the fuck this is all from, but from like 97 and 98. I don't know. Fear of the War.
Yeah. This is put out by Crust Records out of Warwick, Rhode Island.
Yep, that's the guys from Drop Dead's label.
Yeah.
They also put out
it's pretty nice treatment for an old fucking tape.
Yeah.
Although they put the label on there and all fucking wonky. Like that label is applied wonkily.
Yeah, there's a lot of. It's not exactly symmetrical. It's a little. It could be centered maybe a little bit better there.
Yeah, and then you got the old school photocopied fold out fucking J card. Yeah, I found this tape at Zion's Gate of all places. OG.
Nice.
That's a
late
good
in the game. I got some Disclose studio tracks, 93 to 95. Cassette.
Nice. That was a good era, man. I mean, I can't honestly say that there's any era of Disclose that I don't like.
Same.
But that mid era for me though is just where they're like unbeatable.
Right.
Yeah, this is
Totally, like,
I don't know.
Clearly influenced by these fucking guys right here. The
oh yeah,
Gudon, Warhead, fucking Junk, Split, Bloodsucking Freaks. It's like the 4th record released by Bloodsucker Records. Their 4th release.
Bloodsucker's got a solid catalog.
Yeah,
like pretty much everything I've heard on that label is awesome.
Yeah, this Split came out. When is this from? It's old. I should know this. This was a grail. I spent probably more money than I should have on this fucking thing.
Yeah, if it makes you happy, it's worth it.
Oh, it does. Don't even worry about that. Fucking cover art, early cover art by Sugi right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't even
And
look like his style. It's like,
he did that first Warhead cover that Mike showed too, which is like an old one. I think that's his as well. Pretty sure. Mike showed a couple books, and I didn't think about pulling one of my prized books, which is let's see if we can find it. Ugh. Here we go. I found this at Blackwater Records in Portland, Oregon, of all places, which is a great record shop. It's one of my favorite record shops to go to when I'm in Portland. But it's like walking into some fucking stoner punk's basement. Like, it smells like marijuana. It's really dark. There's a very dirty couch in there for some reason, and old T-shirts hanging everywhere. But it's
aside
cool
from
shop.
the T-shirts, I'm like looking around my basement right now, being like, I feel personally attacked.
I've got this book, which is
Oh.
BW Shirokuro Sugi's drawings from 2004 to 2006.
That's
it's a
pretty
two-part.
sweet.
It's a two-part book, but it's just like everything that he's contributed to like hardcore during that time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's an earlier book that covers his really early stuff. There's a 2-volume set. Well, this thing like fucking it came with the magazine, and it came with like fucking poster, like this insane poster of the cover art, and then a fucking like lithograph, like a see-through like lithograph
What
thing.
the fuck?
That's
Jesus.
cool.
That's rad.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that poster or that lithograph. I don't want to. I mean, this I'll probably end up framing at some point now that I look at it because it's so fucking killer. Put in a light box maybe with some fucking cool shit behind it. Anyway, that's another. Like, anytime I see a Sugi painting on a fucking album, I'm like, that's probably good. I need to hear it,
Yeah.
especially if it's Japanese. Although I think he's doing art now for just as many non-Japanese bands as he does for Japanese bands. Wasn't so much the case back in the day, but
Yeah. Well, the guy has like enough of a name for himself where you're starting to see it pop up all over the place. It's like a lot of people, like a lot of illustrators that, like, fuck, who's the guy that did the Power Trip records, but he also did like all those
Paulo
bands.
Girardi.
Paul Girardi, you know.
Yeah. Yup. Yeah, it's god damn it. Yeah, basically anytime I see one of his fucking paintings on a cover, I'll buy it. In fact, he might be on Mike's. That might be a Sugi drawing on Mike's shirt.
It's the forward
Yeah.
one from the last time I saw him.
Forward, yeah.
I think you're right. Anyone into some GJPB? Greatest Japanese punk band?
Never
Or-
heard of that.
Great
Nope.
Jelly Peanut Butter? That's some good shit. Some kind of under the radar stuff. They got the split with Barricade here as well. Definitely underrated.
I mean, I've been through everything I pulled at this point, but I mean, I have so much more. This video could be hours long
Oh,
if I were to
Yeah.
pull
I
out
think,
everything.
well, actually, I'm just going to show off that just to flex. I'm going to pull out that SOB record one more time.
The tape?
No, the LP.
Oh, the
The boot. The fan club
What's
edition.
it? I mean, it's got what is this like a Olive Spending Loud Night and or Olive Thrash Night.
I was
Fucking
looking at it, and it actually has recordings going back to 1986. So it's like all of like really, really early stuff.
yeah.
But I mean,
But
that's the
doesn't it have-
iconic. That's the iconic SOB artwork. Whenever I saw like bootleg shirts, it was always like that.
Yep.
I used to have one of those shirts. Yeah.
Symphonies of Brutality, not to be confused with symphonies of other things.
Symphonies of Destruction.
Or sickness. Thrash Night.
Thrash Night. So good. Anybody who bitches about that name. It's like people who bitch about fucking Infernal Majesty album cover artwork.
Hey man.
You know,
I mean that's one of those things. That's a topic for an entirely other time. But like, of course, it's objectively like as far as like art skill goes, maybe not that great. But like,
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
but
I think it's charming. I don't know.
but
I like the twinkly fingertips.
The Infernal Majesty art succeeds in what it set out to do. It was to portray majesty or majesticness, which probably is no word. Like that's a majestic looking album cover, and they succeeded, so it's fine.
But yeah, Thrash Night, that shit's fucking it's so good. And I need to mention again just how good this record is.
Oh yes, and I actually would like, even though that's just a best of, like I have that on CD.
Well,
Like,
it's
I'd
an
like to
everything
own-
of. It's not just a best
or,
of.
or
It's
not a
an
best of.
everything
It's a discography. I'd actually like to own the vinyl of that as opposed to just the CD, just because I like it that much.
It's great. It's like it has that like same sort of like. I think one of the things that set Asbestos apart, because this material is from. Does it say? 87 through 91.
Yeah.
Which is probably about the same time that like a lot of the raw early shit from Japan was coming out. Not quite Disclose era at that point, but like definitely Gudon and fucking Death Side were putting material out at that point. And probably Battle of Disarm. This was more in that Battle of Disarm camp. It was like super crusty but peace punks, like that super crusty sort of like look, but like that crass like lyrical content, which like is one of the things that sold me on it initially. That and just the music's just fucking great. It's I don't know. I see it get compared to like SDS a lot, but it's not really similar. Like SDS sounds like fucking that final anti-sect EP. That's all SDS is based off. Is that final anti-sect EP. Much like Misery was basically an anti-sect like homage in their early days. But this album is just like I don't know, it's crusty enough for the crusties, but like I don't know. I have a hard time pontificating on it just because this album like hit me at such a time that it really left an impression.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean it's weird because it falls within the same period of time as all of those bands, like Axe Grinder and all that kind of stuff. But it has its own identity. It's super metallic and like kind of galloping.
Yeah.
As they went on, there's a lot of songs that kind of repeat, but like get like beefier production and stuff. They get more metallic. Yeah, I can definitely see how it's like kind of inspired by that. Man, I wish, completely not talking about Japanese hardcore, I wish this version of Anti-Sect recorded a full album.
Dude.
And didn't just have like live records of all that stuff.
I dig.
Because In Darkness There Is No Choice fucking rules, but they weren't quite at this level of heaviness.
Right. Right, exactly. I cannot disagree with that assessment. If I did, I would be wrong. Dude, I almost forgot. for good measure, because I always tout this as being one of the most underrated albums in Japanese hardcore.
That's a great record. That is a great record. I don't own it, but I've listened to it a lot. It's fucking good. Now I need to buy that. Thanks.
Discography from Schizophrenic Records.
Yep.
It's got their Flexi from 84, their Just Last from 86, and their live set from 84 in Sapporo. Man, dude, this guy, they're cut from Great Punk Hits and the studio demo on here. This record smokes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
I think anybody who wants, like, if somebody were to ask me, like, about, like, the perfect song to capture the spirit of, like, mid to late 80s Japanese hardcore, I would say listen to Karen Nash by LSD. And you're going to get a good impression of what it's all about. That song makes the hairs on my arms stand up.
Let's see what we got here. Got some Equalize and Distort. We haven't really discussed.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about Gauze at all, which is wild.
Yeah, we also haven't brought up the Stalin.
Yeah.
All I have is a tape.
I have the Stop Jap reissue that came out like 3 or 4 years ago. It was a Japanese only edition.
And I think this one's just a boot.
Yeah, I didn't pull it. I don't know. I didn't pull any of like. I didn't pull what I thought were like the obvious gimmies. I guess I don't know. Just. I also just kind of assumed that somebody was bound to pull a Stalin or a fucking Gauze record. So
like I didn't pull Ghoul because I knew Pat had that one, so I knew that. But there was some other stuff I figured you guys. I kind of figured you would pull the Stalin out.
This Gauze record.
That record rules.
Like I really like all the classic stuff and Fuckheads and everything, but like this might be my favorite Gauze records, LP, which I think was the last thing that they recorded. It came out on Prank in 2007, I believe.
Yeah, see, like this is one of my favorite
Japanese
Prank. So,
like this is fucking relentless. And my friend who got me into Japanese hardcore, my friend Mike that I was talking about, his wife is Japanese. So when he went over there to get married, I don't know if it was specifically that trip, but he'd been over there to visit with family or whatever. He saw them, and this was not recently. I think it was 2005, mid 2000s, maybe late 2000s. He went and saw them, and they were probably about all of collectively our ages now, maybe a little bit older even. And they just like ripped nonstop, like didn't stop moving. Hour-long set, like totally engaging hour-long set where they're all wearing like jumpsuits, like Ghostbusters style, I guess, and like completely fucking destroyed the whole time.
That's awesome.
Everyone I know that's seen them play live considered it like a life-changing event. So
Yeah.
They must be good. I've never seen them. Like seriously, everyone I know that's seen them has just like changed me completely. So great band.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough footage like online and stuff where I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about the Stalin here in Japanese hardcore, and I didn't pull this.
Oh, nice.
Burst City, the movie, starring the Stalin and the Roosters in a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film out of Tokyo, Japan.
I need to get that.
I need to at least see that.
It's fucking great, dude. It's like Mad Max, but with Japanese punks.
Sounds good to me.
Came out, when did this come out? 1982.
I didn't think it was that old.
Yeah. I might actually watch this tonight. In fact, I think I will watch this tonight. But yeah, this shit's, oh dude, I have that up there. Right behind me.
Good.
I bought that a few weeks back because it was super cheap at Daybreak Records, who I will probably end up plugging every video I make from here on for the rest of my life. We'll probably have at least one Daybreak Records plug per episode, because the amount of stuff that guy stocks is just mind-bogglingly insane. He had it for like $5.
Nice.
So I snagged it. I never heard it. I knew it was Japanese, and I knew it was well regarded, especially by people who like Xionos and like Declone and that kind of shit. So I snagged it. I still need to spin it.
That's good. Let's see, what else do I got in here? Got this one I got fairly recently. Antiseptic and the Clay. The Clay are
dude,
like great.
That clay material is great. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that Antiseptic EP though.
Yeah, it's pretty. I also got this Auto, the Clay thing.
Oh yeah, I was looking at that. I almost bought that and didn't, but was
It's worth
ready
it.
to
It's
pull the
good.
trigger on that.
Yeah, the Clay are so good.
There's this. Speaking of Sugi, speaking of comps,
See, I always wanted that one, and I never got around to getting it.
yeah, this fucking record is great. You've got Reality Crisis, who are awesome. Declone, Demolition, Zalema, and Clown. And the Clown material on here is just fucking killer.
Dude,
Yeah,
this is another like really cheap, like really good Japanese kind of metallic Japanese hardcore record that came out, I want to say late 2000s. The Demolition, I can't remember the name of the record. It's got wolves on the cover. Something of wolves, I think.
Filled my soul, maybe. Oh no, that doesn't.
I have
Yeah,
that ready to. I have that in a VCLT pack for Jason Hook.
That record is really fucking good, and it's everywhere. And it's like $6 everywhere it is.
Right. Here's another one.
Yeah, that's great.
My Meat Is Your Poison. You've got Chicken Bowels, Alto, Systematic Death, Lip Cream, SOB, and Gudon.
Ah, yes, Chicken Bowels.
When I was first getting interested in Japanese hardcore, there was questions as to whether the Chicken Bowels record actually existed. It was kind of one of those mythical things, and then I think somebody figured out that it was a real thing. Right?
I've never seen the EP in real life.
Nor have I.
Which isn't to say, that it's. Wait, that's Maple. Okay, and then I've got another one, and I mean these are all like boots. I have to be clear of legit releases, because that My Meat Is Your Poison LP is expensive, as is the Thrash Gorilla. And then I've got this one, the Godzilla comp, which is Brain Death, Chicken Bowels, Googleplex, and the Clay. And on this one, I mean, it's really all about like that fucking record right there. The Googleplex. Oh my God.
Bootlegs or not, those are great records.
Yeah. They sound great. They're put together by people who cared about what they were putting out.
Yep.
It's like all those Cro-Maniacs bootlegs that you can't buy on Discogs because they're bootlegs.
Yeah.
They're fucking great. That is a good label that puts out material by bands who probably will never, in all realism, get legit reissues.
Yep.
Until somebody like maybe La Vida SMUs picks them up for whatever reason.
Here's a Conton Damaging Noise. What is it? Oh, Conton Damaging Ear Massacre. It's got like Frantic, I think Reality Crisis. Yeah, Poikius. All that. It's on Crust War, so you kind of know the drill.
Right.
It's one that doesn't pop up too often.
Crust
I forgot
War,
I had it until
What a good label.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they even do stuff anymore, or are they just done? I haven't heard of it for a long time.
I think the last record I have they put out was the Warfear LP, which is like members
Yeah, I have
of it's like members of Sore Throat and like fucking
Oh yeah.
Disaster playing like no, nobody from Sore Throat. It's members of Disaster and Doom
Yep.
playing like Japanese style hardcore, basically.
Yeah, you recommended that to me when I hung out with you in Seattle.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a good
picked it up.
record.
It was like an $8 record. It's really good.
Yeah. That's the most recent Crust War record I can think of, but I'm not like I don't think I could ever hope to be a completist when it comes to that particular record label.
yeah.
Some of their shit's real cheap, but some stuff on Crust War, like that War Cry and that Gloom, those were not cheap records.
No.
Yeah, the Defector 7-inch with the book's pretty pricey last time I looked at it as well.
Oh, I want that so bad. That's been on my list for a very long time.
I don't know too many people that have it. I got it when it first came out, and I've just had it ever since.
That I actually forgot about that until you just mentioned it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's some good shit.
Let's consult the Oracle.
There's the other Defector 7-inch too that I don't think it goes for that much money, but the one with the book's kind of crazy.
Dun, 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 dun. I hate it when I have to log into Discogs again.
I can never remember my password.
I just have my computer set to remember it. So let's see, Defector. There we go. Hardcore noise punk band from Osaka, Japan. That's the one with the ultra noise violence. The last time that sold on Discogs, it sold for $65.
Well, that's not that bad.
And they don't currently have any copies.
Hmm.
They do have copies of Punk System Destroy starting at $5.
Yeah, that one's cheap. But this one, the magazine's pretty fucking sweet too.
I mean, that's one of the reasons to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the record's good. Magazines can't read a lick of it, but
I was fucking around on Amazon Japan, and they have that the Stalin book that came out last year or 2 years ago, whenever the reissue came out, right after the dude died. I'm pretty sure it's all in Japanese, but there's like a ton of pictures of live performances of the Stalin and like just the band like hanging out and shit, which is enough of a reason to buy it for me. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm sure they're still available on Amazon Japan. And it wouldn't be the first time I bought a book in a language that I couldn't actually read.
yeah, I've got a bunch. I'd buy that book if I saw it. I should actually pick it up. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Shit's awesome. Yeah. So the synopsis is that Japanese hardcore is rad.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot to dig into. None of us are experts, but we love it. Well, I guess I'll leave it
It's
at
like,
that.
where would you point somebody who's like only familiar with like US crust or hardcore to like start? Like, I don't feel like a crusty person. I'd say, well, do you like World Burns to Death? They'd be like, okay, you do? Well, check these bands out that are like easily relatable to like World Burns to Death. Like,
that's kind of a loaded question because like World Burns to Death is so Japanese sounding to my ears, but I don't know, like anybody that's into like gloomy, crusty shit like Asbestos and SDS, I think works well. You know, people that are more into like like people that might like stuff like Void or United Mutation might like a lot of Japanese hardcore just like by the noisy element of it,
yeah.
I think a lot of people that are into like as I mentioned, like shit like Chaos UK and Disorder should definitely check out Confuse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would just recommend Confuse.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff for everybody. Like I wanted to ask Amanda if she wanted to come down, but I think she's about to go to bed because she's like into a lot of like Japanese like hardcore, like that band Sand, who are like a beat down like metallic like tough guy band. Like she has a Sand windbreaker that she bought like from their website and stuff, you know, like there's a analogous scene to like all kinds of Western stuff, no matter what you're into, like in Japan.
Right. Which is, and that's like a branch that I've never delved into, and at least, I mean, in American hardcore or Japanese hardcore, honestly, is like the beatdown stuff is just never really
not my thing either, really. Well, the edges of it, like stuff like Neglect and Bulldoze, like I've kind of flirted with a little bit, but also like there's like Youth Crew and like New York hardcore style bands like TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx for sure.
Fucking
It's hilarious.
Fucking TJ.
That's a great fucking name for a band, dude. Like
yeah,
that.
no, there's a compilation of all those kinds of bands from sometime in the 90s that it looks almost exactly like the way it is comp from Revelation, and it has TJ Maxx and another band on it called Brick Butt, and you know, like
hey, you like Brick Butt?
and fuck what? No, but there was. God damn it! I'm brain farting on the Minor Threat kind of thrashcore band that was really big that played. They toured. Oh, Total Fury, that band that
yeah,
I've heard of them.
Us a lot. They were more of like a DC hardcore 7 seconds, but also kind of noisy, weirdly. That band was excellent. You know, they were really good. They did some stuff on Gloom, I think.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, this comp here has a lot of those.
Yeah.
Teen Generate rules. But yeah, this comp here has a lot of those like actual hardcore bands and some Youth Crew type shit on it. And some Oi stuff too, like Martins and shit. But
yeah.
Actually, oh shit. One of my favorite Japanese punk records. I should have pulled it anyway, but and I'm sure there would be people who'd be like, that's not really punk rock. If you want to be technical.
Oh, that's totally punk rock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the movie's
fucking Planet of the Wolves, this fucking record. The unofficial soundtrack to Wild Zero.
Yep.
It's got the song Wild Zero on it. This fucking record is so good.
I don't have the record, but I have the movie.
The movie's fucking amazing too.
This band's very similar to Guitar Wolf, also kind of the garage punk thing. There's like a 7-inch inside this and an iron-on, but it's Smash Your Face. And there's actually a trailer for this movie, which is El Hemp versus Electro Guillotine. But I don't know if there's a real movie, but they did make a trailer. So if there is a movie, I'd love to see it. But
that sounds amazing.
It would be awesome.
Fucking rad. I have a huge stack of fucking records out on the floor in front of me now, like kind of unfathomably big.
I have all the records that I pulled for the metal tag video, which I still haven't shot yet. Meant to shoot it last weekend. Now I have the detritus of the Japanese hardcore video on top of those.
I won't be doing the metal tag.
Yeah.
I don't know. By the time I get around to it, it's going to be old. It's going to be an old topic.
I don't really think. I mean, it's for the whole year, you know. And like also like I don't care if it's old. By the time I get around to it, it'll be something. And I want to do something collaborative with Amanda on it, so like I figured that'd be a cool thing to do.
There you go.
If I wait on it any longer, I'm gonna stop wanting to do it too. Like if I slack on it another 2 weeks, it's gonna fall by the fucking wayside. Yeah. But I pulled the records and they're sitting there. It's like the telltale heart, like, you know, they're banging on the fucking floorboards. So I have to do it.
That's like all the records for the last video I shot. I had pulled out for like 2 weeks before I actually shot the video, and I'm like, it's kind of a big pile. then it's like, are you gonna put away those records anytime soon? I'm like, I still gotta make the video. Let's just make the video. I'm like, I don't feel like it.
When I turn off the lights, that they're still kind of like glowing, and they look at me. I know they're there.
I kind of wanted to do that. I kind of wanted to do that one thing that was going around where you like to show us records by as many bands from different
Countries?
locales.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that's one of those things. Like I kind of focus on that. Like I'm genuinely interested in bands from just obscure places, and
Right.
I would go all in. So, but the thing is that if I did that challenge, it would literally be like a 4-hour video. I have so many records from different
I
places.
feel like if I were to do one, it would be very long as well.
Yeah.
I know for sure that I can beat the dude that started it, that guy from France.
I would
Yeah.
trounce him. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, not. I mean, I did mention like 7 bands from Uruguay, like recently.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I mean, yeah, like why wouldn't you want to check out stuff from all over the world? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Because I'm not familiar with the culture. It's the same reason that like people in the 90s weren't really into Japanese hardcore, and then suddenly it just like took that weird turn. I think the weird turn happened when like for whatever X reason Disclose got popular again. And then that happened, and then I started seeing like metalheads talking about Death Side and fucking Nightmare. You know, like, and I was just like, what's going on here?
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't really say. I don't know. It's weird.
It's like it's not quite as weird as like fucking people into sketchy black metal that also like Crass and Rudimentary Peni and Subhumans, which I still think is like one of the weirdest things ever. But you know, it's still kind of weird.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of monochromatic aesthetics, and the music's poorly recorded. So, you know, these are shallow people, so that's all that they have to go on. Same shit, like, you know, black and white album covers, and like, so it's fine.
Right.
Valid point.
Right. Yep.
Whatever.
It's funny.
Who pays attention to ideology? Like, come on.
One more record. And I've talked about this on the YouTube channel before. I did a Japanese punk thing like a while back. And I showed this record. Here we go. And I talked about it on the podcast in the inaugural episode, the Disclose episode, because Kawakami did this project, which is this Bacteria LP. And it's one of the only records that sounds exactly the same on 33 RPM as it does on 45 RPM.
How does that even work?
How
is that even possible?
28 tracks, single-sided 12-inch LP. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be like an ode to like the noisier sore throat shit or like Fear of God.
Yeah. Oh, Fear of God.
But like Sore Throat and Fear of God still had riffs.
Yeah.
And there is not a single decipherable riff on this record at all.
I actually picked that
sounds like
record up
gravel in a blender with somebody growling over it.
What, Mike?
I picked that record up a few months ago, but now you got me questioning whether I listened to it on 33 or 45. I don't know.
Like, do a comparison. Like, it doesn't sound a lot different on either RPM.
I think when we're done this, I'm going to do the comparison just out of curiosity.
You can hear kind of like a drum machine and just like feedback, distortion, and static. And that's like about it. And every once in a while, you can make out Kawakami screaming along. Like, I mean, I love it. Like, I wouldn't have held on to it if it like didn't have a place in my heart, because I've gone through several purges since I've gotten this. Came out in 94, was never properly released until Regurgitated Semen Records got it like 6 years back and released it. Yeah, it just says, "Thanks for the inspiration. Sore throat, fear of God." Like literally, and that's exactly what this record sounds like. It's both of those bands at their worst.
Wow.
And that's not like to not sell people on it. Like, check it out if you can find it. I don't even know if it's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, I think it might be. I
Oh,
think
really?
I think it might be.
But
I'm not 100%.
initially I bought that strictly because it was a Kawakami side project. But like, so like he started doing a lot of like flirting with black metal in like his side projects in like the mid to late 90s. And then right before he died, he was doing like a couple full on like ambient black metal projects outside of Disclose, which are, you know, like nothing I would buy material from, but I can appreciate them for what he was trying to do, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with the point of that, but yeah, I'd be curious to hear what you think about that record once you check it out.
I'll check it out as soon as we're done this. I'll pull one more record here because we've addressed a whole bunch of different styles, but we haven't really addressed Wacky Thrash.
Yes.
Oh man,
I've got.
I've heard so much good shit about that band.
They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I actually have a tour DVD of those guys too, which is pretty interesting. But,
I'd like to pick something up. I've heard a lot of good shit about that band, and I've honestly, they've always just been one of those bands where it's like, I don't know, I have a weird way of prioritizing what it is that I'm interested in, and like they always end up like I'll check that out later.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I have a split. I have Jelly Roll Rockheads, and I can't remember the band on the flip. I think it's an American band, but there's a song on it, No Skate, No Thrash, which is such a fun song. No skate, no thrash. Like only a Japanese band can get away with calling a song that, you know, like.
Yeah, they got one called Ganja Boy too, which is fucking hilarious.
Oh,
oh, that's
another band in that kind of style that's good is the Futures. I fucking love that band. They're just so weird, but
Which
they're
band?
The Futures.
The Futures.
Yeah, they are. It's totally. When you listen to it, it's not what you'd expect. It's kind of like if Jelly Roll Rockheads had kind of like almost weird, like jazzy things going on too. It's like weird timing. It's awesome. Yeah, definitely check the Futures. They're one of my favorites.
Okay, yeah, I have the split with Exclaim, who are actually Japanese, who I don't remember anything about, but yeah, that Jelly Roll Rockhead 7-inch, it's really good.
Oh wow, their demo from '99 is actually super cheap.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
No skate, no thrash.
That was released by Youth Attack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, it was.
The 99 demo in 2001. Whoever thought fucking dude from Youth Attack would end up releasing black metal albums?
Oh, you mean Mark McCoy of Charles Bronson fame?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Or trendy hardcore.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm not that surprised, really. I mean, like,
trendy hardcore hype wagon bands.
He puts out some good stuff, some stuff I'm not that into. The early Youth Attack bands, like the Aerosols and stuff, are really good. Like, and
I mean,
the Killers and that kind of shit.
I dig fucking what is it? I'm looking at it right now. The fucking the serial killer guy with the mask on his face.
Oh,
the hardcore band. City Hunter.
Yeah,
City Hunter. I dig that shit, like Creep Stare, but I can't get into a lot of that black metal he's putting out these days. Anyway, that's not the topic.
Yeah.
That's not the topic.
That's not the topic. Anyways, I gotta call it a night. I am fucking fading. I gotta get up, I'm actually working tomorrow, which I usually don't do on weekends, but I'm picking up some extra hours. So
Fuck that.
Skrilla.
Gotta get that Skrilla. Dollar bill, y'all. I'm on vacation for the next week, so
Ugh, must be
Some
nice.
content.
I had carryover. I have to use it, or else I lose it.
Crazy.
So, yeah, man.
How do
This
I
was this.
stop? Okay, there's a button right there. All right, cool. I got it queued up. I'm ready to stop.
This was a lot of fun, man. I'm glad we got it worked out.
Me too.
Yeah, I had a good time going through all this shit. I have a lot of stuff to refile, but
Me
Yeah,
too.
man. Yeah.
worth it.
Part of the game. Part of the lifestyle. Filing shit.
I just filed like 50 records earlier today, and now I'm like, fuck, I got more.
Yeah. Maybe Jason has it right. Just like fuck it. Like who cares where it goes?
I'm not alphabetizing shit.
Fucking-
Me and my fucking spicy V8, we're not alphabetizing fucking shit.
All right, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I might edit it. I might edit this. Probably not though.
I didn't do any edits to the Euro one, man. I literally just threw the intro on there and uploaded. Like that's it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that. Anyway, have a good night, fellas.
Yeah, man.
See you, man.
Noon.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care.
Fuckheads.